Have you ever had that moment?
Yeah.
You're dreaming, maybe doing something impossible, like flying.
Oh, yeah. Totally vivid.
Or talking to someone, maybe someone who's gone.
Yeah.
And then it hits you.
What hits you?
This sudden, strange feeling. Like, wait a second.
The realization.
Exactly. This isn't real, but I'm here. I'm somehow awake.
That specific moment, that spark you're describing, that's it. That's a lucid dream.
Right.
It's this really powerful state where you become aware you're dreaming, but the dream itself keeps going.
Okay, and yeah, that experience alone is pretty wild. But for this deep dive, we want to go a bit further, don't we? We're looking at how far these ideas can really go. Like, what if these lucid dreams, what if they're not just, brain glitches? Could they actually be portals?
Yeah.
Maybe to other layers of consciousness.
Or even, and this is where some of the sources get really interesting, even other dimensions.
Okay, that's the territory we're exploring.
That's exactly right. So our mission today is to really dive deep into this whole topic.
Great.
We'll look at the science first, what's physically happening in the brain.
Makes sense.
But then we'll shift. We'll explore how different spiritual traditions and even modern quantum physics theories view dreams.
And they see it very differently than just brain activity, I take it.
Oh, vastly different. It raises fascinating questions about whether we're just watching our own minds or maybe tuning into something much, much bigger.
So this is kind of the listener's shortcut to getting up to speed on this whole mysterious area.
Exactly. We're hoping to connect some surprising dots.
Okay, let's start with the science then, because scientifically, lucid dreaming is, well, it's pretty mind-bending already.
It really is. See, normally when we're in REM sleep, that's the stage where most vivid dreams happen.
Right, deep sleep.
Yeah, your prefrontal cortex, that's the bit of your brain handling logic, self-awareness, making decisions.
The executive function part.
Exactly. It's usually pretty quiet then. Kind of offline.
Takes a break.
Right. But in a lucid dream, something changes fundamentally.
Okay, what happens?
That prefrontal cortex, it actually lights up. It becomes active.
Wow. So the logical part wakes up inside the dream.
It's almost like that, yeah. It wakes up within the dream state, giving you this totally different kind of awareness.
So what does that activation allow? What changes in the experience?
Well, that's the key. You shift from just being in the dream to observing it.
Ah, like watching a movie you're also starring in.
Kind of. And sometimes you can even influence it, become the director.
Okay. And we can actually see this brain activity.
We can. Studies using EEG, that's the tech, measuring electrical brain activity, with the scalp sensors. They show that during lucid dreams, the brain generates specific wave patterns, both gamma and alpha waves.
Gamma and alpha. What's significant about those? Are they unusual for sleep?
Well, alpha waves often link to relaxed wakefulness, which is interesting in itself during sleep.
Okay.
But the gamma waves are particularly fascinating. They're very high frequency.
And what do they signify?
They're linked to things like heightened awareness, moments of deep insight, even states people describe as spiritual awakening.
Seriously. Gamma waves.
Yeah, it's not just a tiny flicker, it's a noticeable activation. Gamma waves seem to help bind different parts of the brain together, creating that unified sense of awareness, peak cognition.
Okay, so it's complex activity.
Very. And interestingly, it's the same kind of unique brainwave pattern you see in, say, very experienced meditators.
Like monks?
Exactly. It suggests a similar state of profound mental clarity, but happening while you're technically asleep and dreaming.
So the science definitely shows something unusual and significant is happening inside the brain.
Undeniably. It's a clear neurological event.
But then you have to ask, right, is it only internal? Because when you look at spiritual traditions, dreams are almost never just like mental noise. They're treated as something much more real.
That's a crucial point. Across many cultures and ancient traditions, dreams hold profound meaning. They're not dismissed.
Like who, for example?
Well, think about Tibetan monks. They practice something called dream yoga.
Dream yoga?
Yeah, it's not just about noticing you're dreaming, it's about intentionally going lucid.
Okay.
To use that state for spiritual work, to dissolve the ego, confront fears, maybe even work towards enlightenment itself, all within the dream.
Wow. So they see it as a training ground.
A very real and potent one. And it's not just Tibet. Look at many indigenous shamanic traditions.
What's their perspective?
They often refer to the dream time or the dreaming as the other world.
The other world, like a separate place.
Quite literally, yes. A place where ancestors might reside, where profound healing occurs, where essential truths about reality are revealed. For them, the dream isn't just in your head, it's a shared reality you can access.
A shared reality. Okay,
Yeah.
That's a big leap from just brainwaves.
It is. And even if you look at Western psychology, Carl Jung.
Jung. Collective unconscious, right?
Exactly. He proposed this idea of a collective unconscious, a deep, universal layer of the psyche shared by all humans, filled with archetypes and ancient wisdom.
So how does that relate to lucid dreaming?
Well, Jung might suggest that when you become lucid, you're not just becoming aware in your own little personal mind bubble.
Okay.
You're potentially waking up within this larger collective field, another plane of existence in his view.
So Jung's idea is like a shared mental library we access in dreams.
Sort of, yeah. A deep psychic reservoir. But then, as you hinted, some traditions push it even further.
How so?
They talk about dreams, especially lucid ones, as literally being an out-of-body experience.
Okay, like astral projection, that kind of thing.
Precisely that territory. Some describe it as the astral realm, a space where consciousness can actually detach temporarily from the physical body.
And what's it like there, according to them?
Descriptions often include time feeling different, bending or stretching, fear dissolving, a sense of profound freedom, even the feeling of the self transforming.
Okay, that is genuinely mind-bending stuff. Science right now can't really explain where we go, can it?
Not fully. Neuroscience maps the brain activity, but the subjective experience, the where and what, remains deeply mysterious from a purely materialist view.
And that's where quantum theories come in, making things even weirder. Or maybe more connected.
Potentially, yeah, because some interpretations of quantum physics challenge the very idea that consciousness is strictly produced by the brain.
Meaning it might exist independently.
Or at least isn't confined to the brain tissue. If consciousness is more fundamental, maybe even non-local.
Okay, follow that thought. What does that imply for lucid dreams?
Well, it opens up this really radical possibility. Could lucid dreams be actual conscious experiences happening in, let's say, different frequencies or dimensions of reality?
Oh, like tuning a radio to a different station.
That's one analogy people use. Think about quantum ideas like superposition.
Where a particle is in multiple states at once.
Until observed, exactly. What if our waking consciousness observes or locks into this reality? But our dreaming consciousness, especially when lucid, is tapping into or experiencing a superposition of other potential realities.
And that could explain why you can do impossible things in dreams. Fly, walk through walls.
It's one speculative way to frame it, yes. Those aren't just symbolic acts in the mind, but perhaps reflect the rules of a different frequency or dimension being experienced.
It certainly makes you question those encounters you can have in dreams.
How so?
Well, you talk to dream characters, right? Sometimes versions of yourself, sometimes completely unknown beings. And occasionally they seem, well, independent, like they know things or react in unexpected ways. Are they just projections of our own subconscious?
That's the conventional psychological view, yes.
Or could they be interactions with something or someone beyond our own mind, existing in that other frequency or dimension?
That's the profound question these alternative perspectives raise. Are these internal fragments or external encounters in a different state of being?
It definitely suggests the line between waking reality and dreaming is maybe fuzzier than we think.
Much fuzzier, potentially. This whole deep dive really points towards a possible paradigm shift.
From dreams as just internal replays.
Exactly. To dreams as maybe a continuous state of consciousness, perhaps even more fundamental. Something we return to each night, not just enter as a break from reality.
And quantum ideas make the other dimensions concept sound less like fantasy and more
like a theoretical possibility, however speculative. If consciousness isn't strictly local to the brain, then experiencing other realms isn't automatically impossible.
Okay, so let's try and pull these threads together. We started with the science.
Right, the prefrontal cortex lighting up, those gamma waves.
Yeah, similar to advanced meditators indicating heightened awareness. Then we connected that to ancient wisdom, Tibetan Dream Yoga.
Using dreams for enlightenment.
Indigenous shamans viewing dreamtime as literally the other world.
A real place for healing and knowledge.
And Carl Jung's idea of the collective unconscious, a shared psychic realm.
All suggesting dreams are more than just personal mental chatter.
And this all seems to converge on this really big idea.
That consciousness might not be stuck inside our skulls.
As quantum theory suggests is possible.
Right. Which hints that maybe dreams, especially lucid ones, are genuine experiences. Conscious experiences in different frequencies, different realities.
Where flying, walking through walls, meeting strange beings.
Yeah.
That's just how things work there.
Possibly. It leads to that thought. Maybe the border between waking and dreaming is thinner than we assume.
Maybe. We don't just go into dreams.
Maybe we actually return to them. Return to a more fundamental layer of our being.
So this flips the script a bit. Dreams aren't the unreal thing compared to waking life.
Perhaps they're a different kind of real. A profound reflection, maybe.
It makes you think every night when you close your eyes. You're not just shutting down.
You're potentially an explorer.
Crossing into these huge uncharted territories of consciousness itself.
Exactly. And maybe lucid dreaming, that moment of waking up within the dream. Maybe that's the key.
The key to what?
To remembering who, or maybe what, we truly are. Beyond the physical body, beyond our name and daily life.
Like remembering ourselves as consciousness. As a soul, perhaps.
A soul navigating these different layers, these multiple realities, one dream, one night at a time.
That's a powerful thought to end on, a challenge almost.
It is.
So tonight, maybe when you, the listener, close your eyes.
Yeah.
Don't just aim to fall asleep.
Set an intention first, a clear one.
To become aware, to wake up inside the dream.
And if you do, when that lucid spark hits,
try asking the dream itself. Just one simple question.
Ask it, where am I, really?